Kia ora, and welcome to Monday's Economy Watch, where we follow the economic events and trends that affect Aotearoa. I'm David Chaston, and this is the international edition from interest.co.nz. And today we lead with news. The Middle East situation is getting worse, with the Yemen-based Houthis into the fray, and the Suez entrance now also threatened with closure. Diesel and jet fuel markets look to be particularly vulnerable to an extended loss of Middle East production and exports, given limited flexibility elsewhere to increase output. In New Zealand, we apparently have 46 days of supply for diesel, 53 days for jet fuel. Both fuels could see another 4 weeks' supply coming in the next 3 weeks. In Australia, they seem to have much lower stock levels, 26 days of diesel storage, 19 days of jet fuel storage, and a massive spike in demand for diesel as user panic buying is upending forecasts there. Their situation is looking decidedly dodgy. The next thing for all of us to watch is ship bunker storage and capacity, and both exporters and importers will be sweating the coming surge in freight surcharges. Locally, in the short pre-Easter week ahead, we will not only get an update of February employment indicators and building permits, we'll also get the big end-of-month RBNZ data dump. In Australia, the main data releases will be around their building permit levels, the AI Group PMI, and updates of their March housing market activity. Elsewhere, the week will end with March non-farm payrolls in the US, where they're expecting a modest 50,000 jobs gain, a partial bounce back after the surprise 96,000 job loss in February. Their March ISM PMI is due out this week too. In China, there'll be March PMIs, from India, February industrial production data, but any recent data from anywhere is now less relevant for guidance about how the rest of 2026 may play out. Back in the US over the weekend, the updated University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index fell sharply in March from February. It is now near the record lows of the end of 2025, with declines spanning all age groups and political affiliations. Households with middle and higher incomes, as well as those with stock wealth, experienced the steepest drops in confidence. The US war on Iran and the resulting uncertainty and volatility is driving the bad mood. The short-term economic outlook reported by this respected survey plunged 14%. And US petrol prices are up a third from a month ago, but their diesel prices are up 50% over the same time. Early signs on what this will do to internal freight costs in the US before the recent cost bites were not good. Meanwhile, uncertainty is keeping US oil bosses from investing in new North American oil drilling. They remember the pandemic spike with no fondness and are trying to avoid the value destruction that followed that. They are happy to take the higher profits now without any effort or risk than invest up front in new drilling and risk a sharp pullback. That view probably applies worldwide. Uncertainty is suddenly biting consumers harder there, with a notable downturn in Las Vegas visitors, except for high rollers, of course. Across the Pacific, China has reacted over the weekend to new US anti-trade measures aimed at them, starting with new probes of its own aimed at the US. None of this augurs well for the upcoming Xi-Trump summit, and anyone hoping for an easing of tensions then may need to reassess. The US policy actions all seem designed to provoke, so reactions from China should be no surprise. It's not a path to calmer trade tensions. And profits at China's industrial firms rose 15% in February from a year ago, and the best start to the calendar year since 2022. A lot of this was driven by private enterprises, although listed companies saw only weak growth, and some foreign companies suffered retreats. State-owned enterprise profits rose a modest 5%. Taiwanese consumer sentiment has taken a hit, like everywhere else, now its lowest since January 2023. And Singapore and Malaysia released February producer price data over the weekend and both retreated. For Singapore, its fifth straight decline, for Malaysia, its 13th. But in both cases, March is unlikely to show the same direction. India bank growth is remaining high, up 13.8% from a year ago in their March 29 report. India has rolled back petrol taxes to ease local strains on household. Vietnam has done the same. So have Spain, Portugal, Brazil and Sweden so far. In Melbourne, public transport will be free throughout April as part of a state government effort to encourage motorists to drive less and ease the growing fuel crisis. They follow Tasmania. The US Treasury 10-year yield is now just on 4.44%, unchanged from Saturday, but up 5 basis points from a week ago. And the price of gold will start today down $18 from Saturday, now at $4,493 an ounce, down $80 from a week ago. Silver has slipped 50 cents to $69.50 an ounce, little change for the week. American oil prices are up another dollar at just over $99.50 a barrel, while the international Brent price is up the same, now just on $112.50 a barrel. Ship transit traffic in the Strait of Hormuz, already low, has dried up again. Even Chinese ships can't pass now, even empty ones. The Kiwi dollar is holding lower against the US dollar from Saturday, now at 57.5 US cents, but down 90 basis points for the week. Against the Aussie, we're unchanged at 83.6 Australian cents. We're unchanged against the yen. Against the euro, we're still at just on 49.9 euro cents. That all means our trade-weighted index starts today holding at 61.4, but down 70 basis points for the week. And the Bitcoin price starts today at $66,456 and up 0.4% from Saturday, down 4.5% for the week though. Volatility over the past 24 hours has been low, at just on plus or minus 0.7%. You can get more news affecting the economy in New Zealand from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston, and we'll do this again tomorrow.